So before we start into the bones in particular, let's talk about bones in general. Your bone is your memento mori. It is what's left after you die for the longest. And I found these memento mori out in the woods. This is, I think, the skull of a raccoon nearby, and I think these are deer vertebrae, deer bones, I don't know. But the point that I wanted to make to you in looking at these bones, I'm only looking at half the bone. This is the calcium apatite, calcium carbonate, calcium phosphate part of the bone, and these mineral salts are what get left. But that's not what's in your body. What's in your body is a mixture of these calcium salts and, I'm using a loofah as a metaphor for this, the collagen matrix, the fascia. That's misusing the word fascia, but the fascia, the connective tissue, the soft, three-dimensional, leathery bit that's inside the bones. So as you go through your life, you have a change in the balance of the amount of how much leather is in your bone and how much calcium salts is in your bone. When you're young, you have lots of collagen and less by percentage of the calcium salts. As you age, the leather inside your bone frays and kind of dissolves, and therefore the percentage of the calcium salts in your bones goes up. So if little Johnny falls under one of those things that goes around in the playground and breaks his collarbone, it's very likely to be a green stick fracture, which is very similar to if you tried to break a branch off the top of a pine tree. In that green branch, it would go, it would ruck up like a carpet on the side that's going into compression, and it would have a bad, complicated break on the side that goes into tension. Now, that's not usually a problem for little Johnny. You kind of put it back in place as best you can, and the young body is so full of healing power that it takes no time at all, a very short time for that bone to reknit, and sometimes even an experienced hand like myself can't tell that there's been a break in that bone, even though it was a bad break. When my dad fell on the ice and landed on his trochanter and broke his femur right through the neck, why did it break cleanly? Well, that's a bit like a branch at the bottom of a pine tree, isn't it? You break that off and it's a very clean break because it has so little green cellulose in the case of a plant. But in the case of my dad, there wasn't so much of the collagen matrix left in his bone, so it was a clean break. If they had left him to heal this bone by himself, he probably would have died of pneumonia before the bone healed. So they had to put a pin through it and hold it together. And good for them. He lived for many long years after that.